Hey guys, I am in the Coop right now and live streaming from Meta Ray-Ban glasses, and I'm going to use this opportunity to go ahead and add some threads to this PVC pipe and then swap out all of these water nipples. And then hand turn those in. So earlier today I went ahead and filled up this water tank, so it's up to about here. I turned on a 250 watt heated element in there. Now I don't have any water flowing through these pipes yet, and that's why I'm doing this now. And then I got a new pump that I'm going to set up over there and replace the old one. But these water nipples, I'd say they've been on there at least 3 years. And this is puts the threads on, and you want to take it in and then reverse it out. That way you don't strip any of those threads. And the other thing too is these have the drip catchers. I'll see how they do, but they should keep this area a lot drier by having those. And if there ends up being too much ice buildup, I usually also run a drip tape or a heat tape along here to just keep the exterior kind of warm, so that ice doesn't build up too much. Otherwise there ends up being like an avalanche of ice buildup by the end of winter. And the key with this system is a water pump that moves a decent amount of water. That way I don't have to add that much heat to the water. And then also I end up using 1.5 inch PVC. So the volume of water that gets moved is quite substantial. And if you haven't yet, check out our Black Friday deal on our 2-gallon non-heated chicken water. Is the lowest that I think that system's ever been. And then the heated 2-gallon heated chicken water, that one is on sale as well. And the sale ends 11/59 on December 1st. Now these horizontal water nipples, they come with an extra gasket here. Now the way I look at it is that extra gasket is always a one more chance option. So these are technically optional, but by putting it on there, let's say you thread it in there and it ends up loosening or whatever. So then you can take that off and have those flared threads bite into the thing a little bit more. So that's why I always like having those on there. So I got these replaced. I'll end up replacing the the other ones on the other side. But I added a couple more birds in here, and one challenge is that some of the birds that I added are bantams, and they're still trying to work through the dynamics of all of these chickens in the coop, and so to give them a space so that they don't get beat up too bad, I ended up putting this barricade so that they can kind of go through there, get shelter, and not be bullied too much. But I've had bantams in with the regular flock before, and actually, let's see, since they're all chilling on there, what I'll do is I'll put this crisscross, and let me put that up there. Excuse me. There we go. Now they got some options. And this is a 2x2 lumber that I had earlier, and that works pretty good for roost bars. And let's see, up there is Bruno. He is our Australorp rooster. And we got some decent Australorps. We got a barred rock there. And then what I've been doing is, as I've been adding birds, I've been making sure that my rooster to hen ratio is in a good position. And then I added these 4 bantams. So I just put their leg bands there. And then these are the Australorps. And then these are honorable mention Australorps. That way I can keep in mind when breeding. But as of right now, the eggs that we get in here from a breeding standpoint are what you would consider barnyard mixes. So it's kind of interesting to see what mixtures come out in the incubator. But I'm also planning on getting these lights timed. Right now they're on 24/7, trying to get these birds acclimated to more light versus what they were having out in the pasture, because I think our area is down to about 9.5 hours of daylight, which is not great. So I got these replaced. Now I'll go to the other side and get the rooster side replaced. Oh, and here I added a spring, and that really helps make sure that this door gets shut. Even if the latch doesn't latch, that spring does a good job. So now I'll go down here. So this ends up being a 20 amp box that I put in, and it's the only thing on its own breaker. That way, if I end up having to put a lot of heat elements, I can put that on there. But both of these are GFI, and then this is a timer, and then this turns off that side, leaves that side on. I really wish I would have done it the other way around, because this is the side that I usually use first, and then this side is overflow. But down here is the old pump, and what I'm planning on doing is I have this plastic crate that I'm going to shove in there and then cut open where the IBC tote drain is, so I have access to it. But then that way I have complete access to the pump from the outside, and the chickens don't go through it. Then over here, I just moved these roosters over here today, and still got some work to do in this side, but they're all roosters, and this was probably the best setup that I have, because I have a lot more roosters than I really need, and by having them in a bachelor setup, they end up fighting a heck of a lot less. So I'm gonna go down here and replace the ones that haven't been replaced yet. Okay, so And also what I plan on doing is up here is actually getting some 2x2s, building like a quadrant with some chicken wire, and then that way I can keep all the birds back, and then also build a barricade there, and then eventually I'll have a door go out there for the chicken run. That way I can keep all the birds off of this and not have it get super messy. Let's see. The other important thing with this system is having a valve that goes lower than the valve on the outside, or like the IBC drain. You need another point that is lower than that. And I'll go back to the other side to show you. But I have this opening on this side so I can double check and make sure that everything is good in there. That over there is the outlet, so that's where the water flows in, and by agitating the water, that additionally helps minimize freezing. But yeah, really with these pipes, if for some reason the pump stops working, I need a quick way of draining these pipes. Now the other thing to keep in mind is I've experienced where it will create a siphon, and so typically if I end up having to drain these pipes, I will have to come up here and disconnect this universal link, and that will break the vacuum and stuff. So here we have the opening. This goes down to that pump, and then that way we can visually see that water is flowing, and then it comes down here, goes around there, and then it continues on the other side. So let me show you that lowest point. Oh, the other tricky part with this was I had to build my own door here in order to get an IBC tote into this this area. So I'm gonna go back to the other side. And this right here is the lowest point that I have. And what it allows me to do is, this is a pool 3-way valve. And the reason why I had it a couple years ago was because we had ducks and other things, and I wanted a way of letting some water out into a metal pan, put a heat element there. But this ends up where this part is pointing is where it ends up blocking. So it blocks this side. The water from this side can come down here. And if I'm in the up position, if I'm in the up position, it blocks this off. If I am in this position, it blocks this. So that way the pump can pump the water out and so forth, and then that way can drain it. But I ran into issues before when up here I had a ball valve and then had an opening, and that ball valve, even though it was just about an inch, that water would get in there and it would freeze. So this keeps the water in line, which is great. And yeah, so then once I get this running, I'll end up moving this container over here so that then the smaller birds can hop up and get the water. And typically how I had this set up was for adult-sized birds on this side, bantams or younger birds on the other side. That's why it's lower there. But with having these water cups, it will allow the birds to peck at it, and then there will be a little bit of water there, and then that way the other birds can clean up that water. So I'm going to hop off the live. I'm going to get the plastic crate and just try to get everything set up there for the other pump. But yeah, once again, make sure to check out farmerbrad.com and check out our 2-gallon water and our 2-gallon heated water. And the sale ends Cyber Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe to it. The easiest way to subscribe to it is go farmerbrad.com/YouTube. And that will ask you to automatically subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks.